Krishnam Vande Jagadguru. Govindaya Namaha. Govardhanaya Namaha. Pradyumnaya Namaha. Aniruddhaya Namaha. Rishikeshaya Namaha. Upendraya Namaha. Om Shanti. Welcome to the Divine Productions, especially topics from Bhagavad Gita and the wisdom that you can learn from this Bhagavad Gita taught by Lord Krishna. So, in today's Divine Production, I would like to cover the topic of giving in charity. What is meant by giving in charity? You have something, and if you are willing to give from that something a portion of it to another human being, whoever is in need of that, is called giving in charity. People have things in excess, a lot of wealth, a lot of land, a lot of materialistic things. They can share with others, but you see, they don't. But some of them do. But it depends in which mode you are giving in charity. Are you giving that in sattvic mode, in goodness mode? Or that means in sattvic mode, when you give in charity, you do not expect anything back. You find the right person at the right time in a right place, and with loving attitude for you to get satisfaction, you give in charity to others. And in rajasic mode, when you give in charity, you expect something in return. And in tamasic mode, you never respect the person to whom you are giving that charity. You kind of develop some aversion, and still you give just to show that you are giving in charity. So it all depends upon what type of quality under which you operate, your personality, and then give in charity. Okay, you are giving in charity to your fellow human beings who are in need of those things. But how many people are willing to give? You have not brought anything with you when you were born. You came just naked, not a dime, not any clothes, nothing, just a bare body. And you see, when you leave, when the time expires, also you do not take anything with you. But the surviving ones fight, vie with each other to get a portion of your earnings. They fight. Always. The battle of Mahabharata, that Kurukshetra war, goes on in every family, in everyone's body. It goes on until you realize that you do not want to have attachment to the materialistic things, but you would like to attach to the God. You know what are all the things that Almighty is creating, sustaining, renewing for all of us. It gives us the sunlight every day without fail. It's there. It's there. Without sunlight, you cannot sustain. It gives us the air that we breathe in, the external air. It gives us water for irrigation, for drinking. It gives us trees, bushes, big trees, small trees, mountains, all types of vegetation for us to sustain. But is he imposing any tax on it? All the utilities that he provides, he is not collecting anything from any one of us. But the governments do in every country. The counties do in every country, in every city. Everywhere there is tax. You go to buy something, they impose tax. You buy fuel for you to run your automobile, they impose tax. The tax portion is huge when they sell fuel. Okay, it may cost maybe a quarter, but you see, rest of it is all tax that goes to the government. Think about it. Almighty, that Parabrahma, that Bhagavan, that Paramatma is not collecting even a dime from us. So, in order to spread his wisdom, the knowledge about the God, you have to give in charity to the organizations where they spread the word of wisdom given in the form of Gita by Lord Krishna. To run such organizations, they need some money. They need to spend some money in order to spread the word of God. So, whatever you can actually contribute, whether you have or you don't have. Always you can contribute, whether you are rich, upper middle class, or poor. Still, you can contribute when you think about God. If you don't think, then you spend all your wealth, what all you have, on materialistic things. See, nowadays, everyone has a cell phone. When I was growing up, I was not allowed to touch that analog phone hanging on the wall or sitting on a desk, the big phone, you know. We were not allowed to even touch the automobiles when rich people actually had them in small towns or big towns. We were not allowed to touch such things. So nowadays, everyone can afford, most of the people in the society. But cell phone, of course, without a cell phone, nobody goes out of the house. Even in the house, if they need something, if they want to ask something, even their family members, they get called on the cell phone to fulfill their needs. Anyway, so as all of you know, charity begins at home. Okay, you take care of the needs at home materialistically and spiritually. Develop simultaneously, balance them so that you fulfill your goal as a human being. Yeah. So, what are all the ways that we can actually give in charity? Number one is sacrificing your life for others, for the welfare of others. Okay. So, herein, the second one is sharing your wealth or giving a portion of 1/10 of your wealth, give in charity for the needy, for their welfare, so that they can sustain their life. They're less fortunate. They are in that status because of their own karma, of their own doing. But still, you have to be compassionate toward your fellow human beings. Let them also develop and come to an understanding that they need to also earn to make their lives better, fulfill their materialistic goals, and then tread the path of spiritualism to, to reach the ultimate goal of getting the true peace and bliss in the abode of Paramatman, right in your Sahasrara chakra, within your own body. But you got to realize that you are an Atman energy, first of all. That's the first and foremost requirement for you to realize the God. Okay, we just tried sidetracked. So number three in giving in charity is sharing your intelligence, your buddhi, giving directions to others. What is good, what is bad for them to follow, and what is prohibited from the Vedas, from the Sanatana Dharma. Share that, your intelligence, to the less fortunate ones. Put them on the right path, the righteous path. And the fourth one is express yourself, ask. Even Almighty, that Bhagavan, that Paramatma also accepts you. Even if you don't offer anything to Him, just ask Him, surrender to Him 100%, and He will protect you, He will rescue you, He will take you as His disciple. You worship Him. There is no doubt you can leave all your duties, but truly not running away from your materialistic duties, your prescribed duties. Do not run away. Do not pretend. There are hardships everywhere. Even while practicing spiritualism, people cannot concentrate. They run away from that too. Again, go back to the materialistic lure, to the Maya. They fall back again. Okay? So it's highly difficult. So ask. It does not cost any money. Just by expressing, rather, you will actually get liberation. Just by asking, just by surrendering, just by dedicating all your efforts, just by serving at the lotus feet of the Almighty, just by remembering Him, just by chanting His names, His kirtan, just discussing about Him and sharing with others and getting ecstasy. What else you need? That is actually toward accomplishing your ultimate goal of reaching the Paramatma and realizing yourself as part of Paramatma. That's the best. So, we don't pay anything in the form of tax to the Lord, and we are yet utilizing all His utilities. He's not sending you any bills monthly, and He's not cutting electricity, water, you know, vegetation and fruits from the trees and bushes. What all the benefits that you reap. But others, they exploit. The God given gifts are exploited in making money for themselves in order to satisfy their senses. That's all it is. Such people revolve in the unending cycle of rebirth and re-death, never be able to extricate themselves from this mess. There is no way to wiggle out. The only way to wiggle out is to realizing yourself as the Atma, operating under that mode, being in sattvic mode, going beyond and helping others for their welfare, for the greater good of the people. So herein there are two things. One is prayer, one is Shreya. Prayer is attaching yourselves to the Maya. That means materialistic subjects and objects. Always trying to satisfy your ears, your eyes, your nose, your tongue, and your touch. Whereas Shreya is, it is for your welfare to elevate your Atma and also to elevate the Atmans of others. for them to tread the path of spiritualism and realizing the goal of getting to know the truth about Paramatman and being peaceful all the time and getting that real happiness, that bliss, that anand, that ecstasy. That's what we need. That's what we need. If you have these, the Paramatman, the Bhagavan, your Istadaiv, that Parabrahm, Nirakar, Nirgun, Nirvishesh, absolute God, all of them one and the same, just one God. He will accept if you give with loving devotion. Patram pushpam phalam toyam. Patram pushpam phalam toyam. Yo me bhaktya prayachati tadham bhaktyupahritam asnami prayatatmanaha asnami prayatatmanaha. Ah, ah. You see, when you offer these things, a leaf, a flower, a fruit, and even water, with loving devotion, if you offer the Paramatma, the Bhagavan, your Istadaiv, or the Absolute One, they accept very pleasantly, without any hesitation. And you will become the dearest, 100% guaranteed. Or, without costing any money, you can just surrender to the Almighty 100%. Seek His shelter, serve at His lotus feet, spread His word of wisdom from Bhagavad Gita, from Vedas, from Upanishads, and other sacred books of ours. That's all is needed. That's charity. That's charity. Giving charity. Giving to yourself sometimes in charity by surrendering to the God. How else? How else you can do that? So develop materially to sustain yourself, and also at the same time develop spiritually to reach the abode of peace and bliss, not to entangle in Maya. That's the main goal. That's the main goal. पार्थाय प्रतिबोधिताम् भगवता नारायणेन स्वयम्. पार्थाय प्रतिबोधिताम् भगवता नारायणेन स्वयम्. व्यासेन ग्रथिताम् पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणी भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनी अम्बा त्वाम् अनुसन्दधामि. भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणी भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणी. It's our duty to meditate upon Bhagavad Gita, the mother of wisdom, used by Narayana himself to give instructions to Arjuna and to the whole humankind to get out of this sansar, this maya, and get that liberation. You see, Bhagavad Gita was written by Ved Vyas, ancient sage, with the help of Sri Mahaganapati. And it's in the middle of Mahabharata, containing 18 chapters, deals with Advaitamrit. It only deals with oneness, no duality. Duality only exists in the material world, duality as well as multiplicity. But you see, Bhagavad Gita gives you that wisdom, that eternal, immortal nectar in the form of Gita from Upanishads. The, the summary of Upanishads is Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita alone can provide you liberation. That moksha, the most sought after thing for human beings. It's not an easy task for us to be born as human beings. From 8.4 myriad forms of life, we evolved to this human status. We should better utilize this opportunity of human status to sever bonds with Maya, this materialistic world, and reach the abode of peace and bliss. That means we should head back to the Godhead. And when you are alive, whatever you have, you give in charity to spread the word of God, to spread His wisdom, to create that atmosphere of spiritual attractiveness. Do not fall back to the intricate net of materialism. You cannot extricate, you cannot wiggle out of it. It becomes highly difficult. You need to take many births, 8.4 million different species and their births. We might have all gone through and came up to this stage of human life. How fortunate are we? Even gods and goddesses working under the dominion of Paramatman, Bhagavan, absolute God, they aspire to be being born as human beings so that they get the opportunity to get that moksha, that final liberation, that final nirvana. Mm, mm. We little bit touched what is meant by Shreya and what is meant by prayer. Prayer is when you are material conscious, you get attached to the material subjects and objects. You turn your back to the Almighty. Shreya is where you develop spiritually. That means you are not interested in prayer. You are not interested in materialistic subjects and objects. You are not developing any aversion or attraction to the materialistic things. You are only developing that attraction, that attachment to the Almighty God. And you are working for the greater welfare of the society across the world. That's what is Shreya. The other thing, material consciousness, is prayer. Mm, mm. We also talked about 4 ways of giving to others in charity. Number 1 is sacrificing your life, even getting ready to depart from this world for others' benefit. Number 2 is giving in charity from your wealth. 1/10 of your earnings you can give, or in more than that if you can afford. Otherwise, I told you, Lord Krishna says, even if you do not have anything, give me some water, offer me a leaf, a fruit, such things. I accept them with my heart. You will become my true and dearest devotee of mine. Even you can't offer those things, just remember me. Always seek my shelter, offer everything to me, serve at my lotus feet. Then you're done, you're home. And you see, number 3 is utilizing your intelligence, your buddhi, in giving right directions to the people who are less fortunate or less intelligent. And the 4th one is just asking, just expressing as to what you need. In a way, number 1, number 3, and number 4 aspects of charity giving do not cost you any money. Only when you give from your wealth, it costs you something that you think. But in reality, everything belongs to the Almighty. You have not brought anything with you. You are not going to take anything with you, not even a dime. Mm, mm, mm. Let's see what Sri Mad Bhagavatam says about Shreya Charanam and Preya Charanam. Shreya Charanam is working for the welfare of others. Preya Charanam is working for yourself selfishly in order to satisfy your senses. That is Preya Charanam. And Shreya Charanam is working for others, for their welfare, unselfishly. Mm, mm. You see, on this planet, it becomes the duty of every living being to perform welfare activities for the benefit of others with their lives, their wealth, their intelligence, and expressing words. This is what Srimad Bhagavatam says in one of its stanzas in the 10th canto. एतावज्जन्म साफल्यम् यतावज्जन्म साफल्यम् देहिनामिह देहिषु प्राणैरर्तेर्धिया वाचा प्राणैरर्थैर्धीयवाचा श्रेय आचरणं सदा श्रेय आचरणं सदा. Even Srimad Bhagavatam says you can give in charity in 4 ways: sacrificing your life, giving a portion of your wealth, and utilizing your buddhi, your intelligence, and asking for something what you need. These are the four ways of giving in, or giving to yourself. The fourth one, asking for something for you to develop. You see, we have evolved from beginning number one to 8.4 million different myriad forms of lives. Look at the evolution of life. It's not easy to have been born as a human being. You better utilize your form, this human form, to realize yourself and to realize the God. Labdhva sudurlabhamidam bahu sambhavante manushyamarta martadhamanityamapiha dhiraha turnam yatetna patedanamrutyuyavanni श्रेयसाय विषयः खलु सर्वतः स्यात् खलु सर्वतः स्यात् आ आ Being born as a human being is the rarest of rare life forms. You must better utilize this opportunity. Use your mind, use your intellect. Seek the shelter of Bhagavan. Surrender to him 100%. Serve at his lotus feet. Perform your prescribed duties that are providing welfare to the other human beings without any selfish motive at all. Always, always do that. Mm, mm, mm. So, this is how you can extricate yourself, wiggle out of this sansar full of miseries, this roller coaster life, all the, old age, maladies, the suffering, depending on others. You can avoid all this. When you turn to God, you just remember his name. Just utter the monosyllable that he uttered in creating the cosmos, that Om. But you got to remember that unless and until you do that abhyas, that practice, nitya, every day, you cannot remember even that monosyllable Om. It may seem very easy, but you see, it's highly difficult. You will not be in that consciousness. When you are in the consciousness of material world, thinking about your wealth, your property, your house, your business, your lands, your kith and kin, how can you remember the Almighty when you are on the deathbed? It's only possible when you do Shreya, when you work for the welfare of others, when you work for the pleasure of the Almighty. Then only it is possible for you to get and avoid that repetitious birth and death. That's how you can stop it. Herein, let's talk about the fear of death. Should we get frightened by the death when it comes? Because it is certain. It will come at any time. It's a matter of the time set on you by the Almighty. You see, this Dehi, that means the Jiva, your soul, your spirit, part and parcel of the Almighty Paramatman, that supreme soul, that Dehi, who wears a certain costume, certain dress, that is Dehi. Dehinosmin yata dehe kaumaram yavanam jara. Dehinosmin yatha dehe kaumaram yavanam jara. तथा देहांतर प्राप्तिः धीरस्तत्र न मुह्यति. तथा देहांतर प्राप्तिः धीरस्तत्र न मुह्यति. Our Dehi, that means our Atman energy, migrates within the body, within your own body. Our bodies actually get modified. For every 7 to 10 years, all the cells in your body, they get replaced, they're renewed, except your brain cells. That means 95% of your cells, trillions, billions, trillions of cells, they shed off when they die because of senescence, and then get renewed to get the new cells in every organ of your body. But you do not realize, but your same Atma migrates through your childhood to youth, to adult age, and then old age, and you suffer from various maladies, and then you renounce your body. Then what happens to that Atma which was residing in that modified bodies through many stages? It gets into a new, brand new body according to your karma, your accumulated karma. And that body is given by the Almighty in the womb of a suitable mother for you. So, what does this imply? What does this tell you? No need to get scared of death. Do not be afraid of death. Rather, you must be afraid so that you should not get back to this samsara, this Maya. It's terrible. That means utilize this opportunity to get back to the Godhead and never come back. That's the focus. That's concentration needed for each and every one of us. So, no need to fear the aspect of death. It may come, it may strike you at any time, while you're working, while you're eating, while you're talking, while you're singing, while you're playing, while you're sleeping. Anytime it can hit you. There is no escape. There is no escape. And it is certain. It is certain. That's why, since birth and death are certain until you are enlightened, until you serve at the lotus feet of the Almighty, Therefore, whatever you have, whatever you can, give in charity to others to sustain with your charity. Let them learn from your charity so that they can give in charity in turn to others. Perform welfare activities without any selfish motive. Mm, mm, Herein, let's bring in Vamanadev, one of the avatars of Lord Vishnu, is the fifth one, I believe. The Brahman, the dwarf, Vaman, comes to attend a yagna that was performed by Bali Chakravarti, the grandson of Prahlada, a great devotee of Lord Vishnu, son of Hiranyakashipu. He always treated Lord Vishnu as his real mother, father, guru, everything. And he was protected, rescued as as Prahlad, Prince Prahlad was 100% dedicated. He sought Lord Vishnu's shelter without heeding the advice or the force from his father as he tortured him physically and mentally, tried to kill him in every which way. And Hiranyakashipu, as you know, he fails to kill him. Rather, he gets killed by Narasimha Avatar, that god. You are very well aware of that history. So, Bhakta Prahalad also believed always in surrendering to the God. You see, he used the fourth technique of expressing himself, asking the Lord and d- dedicating everything to him, depending upon him truly as his true devotee, which never costed any money for him. See what a celebrity he became as one of the greatest devotees of Lord Vishnu. He lives forever in everyone's memory. And Bali Chakravarti, his grandson, also believed giving in charity. Bali Chakravarti, emperor, he defeated Indra. Indra actually lost all his power. That's how all the devatas, all the gods, including Indra, they go to Lord Vishnu to, to get the kingdom back, for all the gods to rule the world under Lord Vishnu's dominion. That's how Lord Vishnu incarnates as Vamana, the dwarf Brahman, and comes to attend the yagna performed by Bali Chakravarti. And then that dwarf Brahman asks alms. And then Bali says, "What do you need?" "I need just 3 steps of land or space." Only 3 steps. Bali Chakravarti was surprised to hear. Only 3 steps. Take whatever you want. We have vast land. Only 3 steps. This was observed that Lord Vishnu was playing a trick on Bali Chakravarti to defeat him. But Bali Chakravarti does not heed the advice from Shukracharya, his guru. Then Bali Chakravarti says to the dwarf Brahman Vaman Dev, "Okay, take 3 steps. Does not matter. Wherever you want, you take it." Okay? And then Vaman Dev actually he places his first foot in the Swargalok, and the entire Swargalok was covered by his foot. That is number one step. And number two step, in the Antariksh, he puts his second foot, and that's the second step. He covers the whole Antariksh. And then he was ready to place his third step, and there was nothing left. He grew tremendously, huge foot he grew, and then the whole Swargalok, the heaven, the Antariksh, and the Bhulok, the earthly plane, everything was covered under his foot. He finally places on top of Bali Chakravarti, that emperor's head, and Bali Chakravarti with his associate. He actually rules the nether world. So Bali Chakravarti never hesitated to giving in charity, even to the Lord. There, Lord actually became a yachak. He was asking for it, and he got it. That's how Lord Indra was reinstated as the king of all the gods and goddesses, the demigods and demi-goddesses, under the dominion of Lord Vishnu. Mm, mm. न ते विदुः स्वार्था गतिं हि विष्णुं दुराशया ये बहिरर्थ मानिनः अन्धा यतान्धे उपनीयमानास्ते अपिशा तन्त्र्यम् उरुदाम्नि बद्धाः आ, 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 That's how Bhakta Prahlada and Bali Chakravarti, they give in charity without any hesitation. One, by giving away from the wealth, because Bali Chakravarti thought all the words belong to him, all the space, all the land, everything. But you see, he never hesitated to give it to the Lord. And Bhakta Prahlada, always he dedicated himself 100%, sought the shelter of Mahavishnu. And you know how he got protected and rescued, and always tread the path of spiritualism, and made all his subjects follow the Sanatana Dharma and become the devotee of Lord Vishnu, to experience peace and bliss in his reign. Mm, mm, mm. श्रवणं कीर्तनं विष्णोः श्रवणं कीर्तनं विष्णोः स्मरणं पादसेवनम् अर्चनं वन्दनं दास्यं सख्यम् आत्मा निवेदनं सख्यम् आत्मा निवेदनम् आ, आ, Bhakta Prahlada always strongly trusted, strongly believed in worshipping the Lord Vishnu. Always he sang Vishnu's praises, always remembered him while awake and while sleeping before he slept, and with his fellow human beings. When he was a boy, he converted all his fellow pupils into Lord Vishnu worshipping pupils. He always worshipped him with all his heart. He paid obeisances to him. He prostrated before him. And you see, he treated Lord Vishnu as his friend, as his mother, father, Lord, and he dedicated everything. He offered all parts of his body, his Atma, everything, every day. Mm, 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 mm. यत्करोषि यदश्नासि यत्करोषि यदश्नासि यज्जुहोषि ददासि यत् यत्तपस्यसि कौन्तेय यत्तपस्यसि कौन्तेय तत्कुरुष्व मदर्पणम् तत्कुरुष्व मदर्पणम् आ आ on charity. In Bhagavad Gita, this is what Lord Krishna says to Kaunteya, that Arjun, Arjun, whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever you offer, or give in charity, and whatever austerities you perform, do that, O son of Kunti, Kaunteya, as an offering to me, as an offering to me. I accept. Mm, mm. So, according to Lord Krishna in Bhagavad Gita, we all have different shraddhas, different faiths. That's how we operate in different modes, whether it be sattvic mode, whether it be rajasic mode, or whether it be tamasic mode. You see, the desirable mode is sattvic mode, but you gotta evolve to this state from your tamasic mode. Tamasic mode is operating under the mode of ignorance. Rajasic mode is operating under the mode of passion. And Sattvic mode is operating under mode of goodness for the welfare of others without any selfish motive. Rajasic mode people, they have selfish motive. And Tamasic mode people, they are sleepy, procrastinating. They do not follow any dharma. They have their own dharma. They create their own rules and regulations. They think they are as good as the Almighty. They never listen to anybody. They are slothful and inactive, never care about the presence and the existence of Satya, that Paramatman. They only care about the material existence, and they think everything got created by itself from the material and man and woman. That's what they believe in. That's the Shraddha they have. दातव्यमिति यद्दानं दीयते अनुपकरिणे दातव्यमिति यद्दानं दीयते अनुपकारिणे देशे काले च पात्रे च तद्दानं सात्विकं स्मृतं देशे काले च पात्रे च तद्दानं सात्विकं स्मृतं Those people treading the path of spiritualism, righteousness, operating under the mode of goodness, they're giving charity to those who are in need. They find the individuals that are in need of such things, and then they give in charity, whatever they have, at the right time, at the right place, to a worthy person. That type of giving is known as sattvic giving in charity. Coming to the rajasic mode of giving in charity. Yattu pratyupakarartham यत्तु प्रत्युपकारार्थं फलमुद्दिश्य वा पुनः दीयते च परिक्लिष्टं तद्दानं राजसं स्मृतं दीयते च परिक्लिष्टं तद्दानं राजसं स्मृतं Rajasic natured people giving charity to people with reluctance, with the hope of a return someday the other. They expect a reward in return from the beneficiaries. That mode of giving in charity is called the mode of passion or rajasic mode. Coming to the tamasic mode of giving in charity, that is ignorant mode of giving in charity, without respect and with contempt. And the people with tamasic nature, they do not know what they are doing also. They do not know the purpose also. They give in charity to unworthy people at a wrong time, at a wrong place, without showing any respect at all. This is how Lord Krishna says in his stanza. Adeshakale yadanamapatrebhyascha diyate adeshakale yadanamapatrabhyascha diyate asatkrutamav asatkrut मवज्ञातं तत्तामसमुदाहृतम् असत्कृतमवज्ञातं तत्तामसमुदाहृतम् आ आ in the as is words of Lord Krishna from this stanza. And that charity which is given at the wrong place and wrong time to unworthy persons without showing respect or with contempt is held to be of the nature of nations with ignorance. Mm, Finally, what does Lord Krishna say in his Gita, Bhagavad Gita, in the 18th chapter, in Moksha Sannyas Yoga? He says that if you surrender to me 100%, seek my shelter, leave, abandon all your dharma, material dharma, spiritual dharma, what all you have to fulfill, just forget about them. Just come to me. Do not you worry. Do not grieve. I shall deliver you from all your accumulated sins over many years. And I will provide you that moksha. I will destroy your passion for the materialistic subjects and objects. I will release you from this Maya. Sarvadharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja. सर्वधर्मान् परित्यज्य मामेकं शरणं व्रज अहं त्वां सर्वपापेभ्यो मोक्षयिष्यामि मा शुचः अहं त्वां सर्वपापेभ्यो मोक्षयिष्यामि मा शुचः आ आ In the as is words of Lord Krishna, abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender unto me. I shall deliver you from all sinful reactions. Do not fear. Do not fear. ये यथा मां प्रपद्यन्ते तां तथैव भजाम्यहम् ये यथा मां प्रपद्यन्ते तां तथैव भजाम्यहम् मम वर्त्मानुवर्तन्ते मनुष्याः पार्था सर्वशः मनुष्याः पार्था सर्वशः आ आ however, they seek my shelter, however they worship me, whichever path they tread, it does not matter. I shall reciprocate equally. And all the human beings, whether they are my devotees, whether they are theists, atheists, agnostic, male, female, does not matter. Caste, creed, religion do not matter. When they seek my shelter, I protect them, I save them, I shall deliver them from this Maya and make them taste the true peace and bliss at my lotus feet, or in my abode, that dham of peace and bliss, eternal peace and bliss, rather. That's all, folks. In this divine session, we covered giving in charity. Remember to cap. We do not give anything in charity to the Lord. We utilize His utilities. He never sends a bill. He never cuts off any service for not paying the bill. But you see, some offer in the form of money, gold, whatever they have in excess. But again, their motive is selfish. They want to make more money, accumulate more wealth, hoard more lands, properties, whatnot. You see, when they go to the temple, they pray to the god to realize their wishes, materialistic wishes. Most of them, I do not think that they realize and wish for not having this life again. Maybe they want to come back and have a better life in this life. If they are millionaires, they want to become billionaires, and billionaires to trillionaires, trillionaires to whatever, that infinitenaires in terms of wealth and richness, that sumptuousness. That's what it is, unless and until you realize yourself as an Atman energy and then trying to merge yourself with the Paramatman energy to become one, that oneness, no duality, to experience peace and bliss and never come back onto this earthly plane or any plane of existence where there is life. What all you need is that divine body serving at the lotus feet of that Paramatman, that Bhagavan, that absolute God. That's all you need. That's the ultimate goal. So remember to give in charity with loving interest. Be compassionate. Think that you're an Atman. If you think you're a body, then you see you're gone. You don't feel like giving in anything in charity. Okay? I hope you understood something from the stanzas, one or two from Srimad Bhagavatam, and most of them were from Srimad Bhagavad Gita uttered by Lord Krishna. All of them give enough wisdom for us to develop, cultivate the habit of giving in charity. Okay. And if you do not have anything what to do also, and you see, just your word is enough. Encouraging words to the fellow human beings is good enough most of the times. That means they think that they have the back of others, the, the support of others. Okay. So with this, let's let's meet again with another divine production in the days to come. Krishnam Vande Jagadguram Swasti. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.